Strange lights flickered at the edge of the solar system. For weeks, Earth's deep space monitors had picked up unusual energy signatures moving toward the sun. No one knew what to make of them at first. Captain Alex Matthews sat at his command station in the Earth Defense Force headquarters beneath the Rocky Mountains. His eyes narrowed as he studied the holographic display. The anomalies had multiplied overnight. "Sir, we've confirmed it's not a natural phenomenon," Lieutenant Gomes reported, her voice tight with concern. "The objects are changing course deliberately." Alex nodded grimly. "How many?" "At least 300 vessels, sir. Possibly more behind them." The captain ran a hand through his short brown hair. Earth had developed impressive defenses in the past century, but nothing prepared for a fleet this size. He tapped his communication panel. "Get me Director Harris. Now." Within hours, scientists from around the world gathered virtually to analyze the incoming data. Among them, Lisa Kelly and Daniel Hart worked frantically to decode strange transmissions accompanying the approaching fleet. Lisa pushed her glasses up her nose, staring intently at the scrolling symbols on her screen. "Daniel, look at this pattern. It repeats every 17 seconds. Daniel leaned closer. "It's not random. That's definitely a communication attempt." For 36 hours straight, they worked without rest, applying every cryptographic algorithm in Earth's database. Finally, at 3:47 a.m., their system chimed. "We've got it," Lisa whispered, her bloodshot eyes widening. "My God." The message was simple and direct. "Greetings from the Galactic Empire. Prepare for integration. Resistance is unnecessary." News of the message spread quickly through government channels. By dawn, the United Council convened in their Geneva chamber. Representatives from all Earth nations gathered around the massive circular table, faces grim under the harsh lighting. "This is clearly a first contact situation," said Representative Singh. "We should welcome them with open arms." "Open arms?" General Martinez scoffed. "They didn't ask permission to enter our space. They announced their arrival as if our consent doesn't matter." Director Harris stood, activating a wall display. "Our intelligence suggests this galactic empire has done this before. We've been monitoring transmissions for decades. Every civilization they've integrated has essentially become a resource colony." A murmur ran through the room. "What are our options?" asked Chairwoman Rivera. "Standard protocol would suggest diplomatic engagement," Ambassador Wilson responded. "But I must note they've already violated several principles of peaceful contact." Alex Matthews was called to present the military assessment. "Their technology appears significantly advanced, but we've developed some unique defensive systems that might surprise them." Still, in a direct confrontation, he left the implication hanging. The debate raged for hours. Some argued for immediate surrender to avoid potential destruction. Others insisted on fighting regardless of the odds. A few suggested hiding, shutting down all broadcasts, and pretending Earth was uninhabited. As the sun set, Chairwoman Rivera called for a vote that would determine humanity's fate. All those in favor of accepting the Empire's integration. A few hands rose. Those in favor of denying entry and asserting Earth's sovereignty. The majority raised their hands. Lisa and Daniel watched the vote on a monitor in their lab. "They're really going to tell a galactic empire to go away?" Daniel asked incredulously. "Seems like it," Lisa replied. "I just hope we're not making a terrible mistake." Back in the council chamber, Alex Matthews received his orders directly from the chairwoman. "Captain, prepare a response message. Inform this empire that Earth is not accepting visitors at this time." Her voice was steady despite the enormity of the decision. "Entry to this solar system is forbidden." Alex saluted. "Yes, Mom." As he left to draft humanity's response, he wondered if he was carrying out the bravest order in history, or the last one. Ambassador William Foster adjusted his formal uniform as the communication terminal powered up. Around him, the broadcast center hummed with nervous energy. Technicians made final adjustments while military personnel stood at attention, This would be humanity's first direct interaction with the Galactic Empire. "Ready when you are, Ambassador," said the communications officer. William nodded, taking a deep breath. His message would reach across millions of miles to the approaching fleet. The weight of Earth's future pressed on his shoulders. "Imperial fleet approaching Earth's solar system," he began, his voice clear and firm. "This is Ambassador William Foster of the United Earth Government. We have received your announcement of arrival. After careful consideration of your intentions, we must inform you that entry to this solar system is forbidden. Earth is not accepting integration at this time." He paused, allowing the translation software to convert his words into the Empire's language. "We request that you respect our sovereignty and withdraw your forces immediately. This is not a negotiable position." The message was sent. For 17 minutes, the room remained silent, waiting for light-speed communications to make the round trip. When the response came, it wasn't what anyone expected. The screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, gray-skinned being with silver eyes. Ornate markings covered its elongated face. "I am Lord Vexus, Imperial Overseer of Sector 7, the alien said, its voice translated into eerily perfect English. "Your response is unprecedented. No developing world has ever refused integration into the Empire. Perhaps you misunderstand the honor being offered." "We understand perfectly," William replied. "Earth has studied your methods of integration through intercepted communications. We know what happens to worlds that join your empire." Lord Vexus's expression shifted subtly. "Impossible. Your technology should not." "We have our methods," William interrupted. "And we've learned how the Empire strips resources from its colonies while offering minimal benefits in return. How native populations become second-class citizens on their own worlds." In a secure room nearby, Intelligence Officer Samantha Wright watched the exchange with her team. On multiple screens, they displayed evidence gathered over decades. Transmissions intercepted from distant stars, analysis of strange signals, and patterns of stellar activity suggesting exploitative mining operations across the galaxy. "He's doing well," Samantha murmured. "The evidence is solid." On screen, Lord Vexus had regained his composure. "Your accusations are mistaken. The Empire brings order and advancement to primitive systems. Without us, you would remain isolated and vulnerable. We choose that risk over certain subjugation," William responded. "Our decision is final." Earth's broadcast switched to a public declaration, transmitting on all frequencies the Empire might monitor. The United Council's statement outlined their reasoning, providing evidence of the Empire's colonial history and exploitation of other worlds. Lord Vexus's face darkened. "This defiance is unacceptable. The Empire has never been denied. You have 3 Earth days to reconsider before we demonstrate the consequences of your decision." The transmission cut off abruptly. In the broadcast center, silence fell. Then Captain Alex Matthews stepped forward. "Ambassador," that went about as expected. William nodded grimly. "They're not used to being told no." 3 days isn't much time," Samantha Wright said, entering from the monitoring room. "But it's enough to activate our defensive systems." General Nicole Carter joined them, her expression determined. "All military units worldwide are already on high alert. If they want a demonstration, we'll be ready to give them one of our own." William looked at the blank screen where the alien's face had been. "I hope we haven't just signed our death warrant." "Better to die on our feet than live on our knees," Alex replied. "Besides, we've been preparing for this possibility longer than they realize." Outside the facility, as news of the exchange spread, people around the world looked to the sky with new awareness. The stars no longer represented just wonder and possibility. They now held a very real threat. Yet surprisingly, panic didn't sweep across Earth. Instead, a determined resolve took hold as humanity faced its greatest challenge together. General Nicole Carter strode through the underground command center. Screens lined the walls showing defense systems activating worldwide. In the 3 days since Earth's defiant message, The planet had transformed into a fortress. "Status report," she demanded. "All orbital platforms online," replied her second-in-command. "Moon-based defenses at full capacity. Mars and Europa colonies have pledged complete support." Nicole nodded. Earth had been preparing in secret for decades. Long-range sensors had detected other civilizations years before the Empire made contact. Human leaders had quietly built defenses while maintaining a facade of normal development. And Project SHIELD. As if on cue, Engineer Jack Murphy entered the room carrying a small metal cylinder. Despite the pressure, he smiled confidently. "It's ready, General. Final tests exceeded expectations." Nicole examined the device. "This tiny thing is supposed to protect us from an empire that spans galaxies." "Size isn't everything," Jack replied. "This device creates an energy field that disrupts their weapon systems. Their technology relies on quantum signatures completely different from ours. That's our advantage." In orbit above Earth, satellites were being fitted with similar devices. If Jack's calculations were correct, they would create an invisible barrier around the planet. Meanwhile, Officer Ryan Phillips led a team of 20 specialists on a dangerous mission. Their stealth ships slipped through the outer solar system, placing sensors and defensive units on moons, asteroids, and in the void between planets. "Plant the next one here," Ryan instructed as they approached Neptune's moon Triton. "Make sure it's hidden in the ice crevasse." "Sir, incoming transmission from command," his communications officer reported. Nicole's face appeared on screen. "Phillips, sensors show Imperial scouts have entered the system. Speed up your deployment and get your team to safety." "Understood, General." The stakes couldn't be higher. Earth had 3 days to prepare, and 2 had already passed. Back on Earth, diplomat Olivia Bennett made one final attempt at negotiation. From a heavily shielded facility, she initiated contact with the Imperial fleet. "Lord Vexus, we request a peaceful resolution. Perhaps we can discuss terms that would benefit both our civilizations without requiring integration." The alien lord's face appeared on screen, his silver eyes narrowed. "There is nothing to discuss. Your defiance has been noted and will be corrected. The Empire does not compromise." "Then you leave us no choice but to defend ourselves," Olivia replied calmly. "Your primitive weapons will be useless. We have conquered 1,000 worlds more advanced than yours." Olivia smiled slightly. "Perhaps, but none of them were Earth." The transmission ended. Her attempt had failed, but it was never expected to succeed. The real purpose was to gather data on Imperial communication systems, which analysts were already processing. As the deadline approached, citizens around the world waited in shelters. Unlike previous crises in human history, this threat had united the planet. Old conflicts were set aside in the face of extinction. Jack Murphy supervised the activation of the SHIELD network from a control room beneath the Pacific Ocean. "Power levels stable," he reported. "Field integrity at 98% and climbing." Nicole Carter watched as a countdown timer reached 0. Earth's ultimatum had expired. "And now we find out if we've been clever or foolish," she murmured. High above, sensors detected movement. The Imperial fleet had begun its approach. Ryan Phillips and his team raced back toward Earth in their stealth vessels, their mission complete. The solar system was now wired with Earth's technology, creating a web of defense and intelligence gathering. "All units, battle stations," Nicole ordered through the global command network. "This is not a drill." Jack Murphy's fingers flew across his control panel, making final adjustments to the SHIELD system. "General," he said, looking up at the main screen where the Imperial ships grew larger, "I hope you know what you're doing." Nicole watched the approaching fleet with steely determination. "So do I, Murphy. So do I." The Imperial ships entered Earth's solar system like predators stalking prey. 5 sleek vessels moved ahead of the main fleet, their hulls gleaming with an unnatural blue light. This was their demonstration of power, a small strike force meant to break Earth's resistance before the full invasion began. Commander Eric Foster watched their approach from the bridge of the EDS Defender, Earth's most advanced battleship. He had positioned his vessel behind Mars, hidden from direct detection. "All stations report," Eric ordered, his voice calm despite the tension. "Weapons ready. Shields at maximum," his first officer responded. "Murphy's technology is fully integrated into our systems." Eric nodded. "And the rest of the fleet?" "In position, sir, waiting for your command." Around the solar system, Earth's ships remained concealed behind planets, moons, and within asteroid fields. The plan was simple but daring. Let the Imperial force commit to their demonstration, then surprise them with a coordinated response. The 5 Imperial vessels slowed as they approached Earth's orbital defense platforms. "They're scanning our defenses," reported the sensor officer. "They seem confused." On the lead Imperial ship, Commander Valix frowned at his display. "Their technology is primitive, yet something is interfering with our targeting systems. Perhaps a natural phenomenon," his science officer suggested. "Irrelevant. Proceed with the demonstration. Target their largest satellite installations." The Imperial vessels fired brilliant purple beams toward Earth. But as the energy weapons hit the invisible shield Jack Murphy had created, something unexpected happened. The beams dispersed, creating spectacular auroras around the planet without causing damage. In the command center beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Nicole Carter watched with held breath. "Murphy, are you seeing this?" Jack nodded, his eyes wide. "The shield is working even better than I hoped. Their weapons operate on a quantum frequency our technology naturally disrupts." On the EDS Defender, Eric Foster saw his opportunity. "All ships, execute attack pattern Delta. Now." From their hiding places, 20 Earth vessels emerge, weapons charge. The Imperial ships, still attempting to penetrate Earth's shields, were caught by surprise. "Enemy vessels detected," shouted a panicked Imperial officer. They were shielded from our sensors. Earth's ships fired in unison. Their weapons were less advanced than the Empire's, but they struck with precision, targeting the exact points Ryan Phillips' team had identified as vulnerabilities. 2 Imperial vessels exploded immediately. A third spun out of control, its propulsion systems damaged. "Impossible," Commander Valix shouted. "Retreat. Return to the main fleet." The remaining Imperial ships attempted to flee, but Earth's forces had anticipated this. Hidden defensive platforms activated around the solar system, creating gravitational distortions that slowed the Imperial vessels. As the battle unfolded, Dr. Kate Peterson led a specialized team in a small, unmarked ship. While the Imperial forces were distracted, they approached one of the damaged vessels. "Perfect," Kate whispered as her team attached to the Imperial scout ship's hull. "Begin cutting operations." Using tools designed specifically for this purpose, they created an entrance into the alien vessel. Inside, they found the crew had abandoned ship, leaving behind valuable technology. "Secure everything," Kate ordered. "We need this intact for analysis." Meanwhile, Eric Foster pursued the retreating Imperial vessels. "Don't let them escape the system. We need to make a statement here." Earth ships chased the remaining Imperial vessels past the orbit of Neptune. One more was destroyed before the last escaped into faster-than-light travel. In the command center, a cheer erupted as reports came in. Earth had won its first battle against the Galactic Empire. "Don't celebrate yet," Nicole cautioned. "They'll be back with their full force next time." Jack Murphy nodded grimly. "At least now we know our technology works against theirs." A communication officer interrupted. "General, Dr. Peterson reports success. They've captured an Imperial scout ship intact." Nicole's expression brightened. "That changes everything. Get me a secure line to her team immediately." As Earth prepared for the Empire's inevitable return, Kate and her team made a discovery that would alter the course of the conflict. Buried in the Imperial ship's computer was information about a fundamental weakness in all Empire technology, one that Earth might be able to exploit on a massive scale. Admiral Henry Wilson stood before the holographic display in Earth's war room, The captured Imperial scout ship had proven invaluable. Dr. Kate Peterson's team had worked day and night to understand its technology, and their findings exceeded all expectations. Operation Sovereignty is ready to launch, Henry announced to the assembled military and civilian leaders. We're not waiting for the Empire to return with their main fleet. We're taking the fight to them. General Nicole Carter nodded in agreement. The element of surprise is our greatest advantage. On the screen, a detailed map showed the Imperial fleet holding position just beyond Pluto. After their failed demonstration, they had retreated to regroup, likely planning a full-scale invasion. Our fleet will deploy in 3 waves, Henry continued. The first wave will draw their attention. The second will deploy Dr. Peterson's counter-technology. The third will exploit the resulting chaos. In orbit above Earth, pilot Michelle Johnson climbed into her fighter craft. As squadron leader, she would lead the first wave, a dangerous honor. All pilots, final systems check, she commanded through her helmet comm. Around her, 50 of Earth's best pilots prepared for battle. Remember your training, Michelle continued. Their weapons are powerful, but slow to adjust. Use that to your advantage. The hangar doors opened, revealing the blackness of space. One by one, the fighters launched, forming into attack formation as they accelerated away from Earth. Meanwhile, Dr. Peterson supervised the loading of her new technology onto the second wave vessels. Based on the captured Imperial ship, she had developed devices that could disrupt the quantum frequencies the Empire relied on. Be careful with those, she instructed as technicians moved the silver boxes. Each one cost us a week of non-stop work. The journey to the edge of the solar system took hours. Michelle's squadron maintained radio silence, using the sensor-disrupting technology developed by Jack Murphy to approach undetected. Imperial fleet in visual range. Michelle reported when they finally spotted the massive gathering of ships. Hundreds of vessels hung in space, preparing for their assault on Earth. Initiating attack run, she ordered. Remember, we just need to get their attention. Her fighters swooped toward the Imperial Armada, firing precisely aimed shots at their communication arrays. Alarms blared across the Imperial fleet as the unexpected attack caught them unprepared. Earth vessels detected, shouted an Imperial commander. All ships, battle positions. The Imperial ships began to move, energy weapons charging. Just as they prepared to obliterate Michelle's squadron, the second wave of Earth's attack arrived. Transport ships released hundreds of Dr. Peterson's devices, too small to target effectively. They attached to Imperial vessel hulls and activated. The effect was immediate and devastating. System failures cascaded through the Imperial fleet. Lights flickered, weapons powered down. Communication systems went silent. Now, Henry ordered from the command center. The third wave of Earth ships emerged from hiding places throughout the outer solar system. Ryan Phillips led this wave, commanding Earth's heaviest battleships. All vessels, open fire on designated targets, Ryan ordered. Unlike the confused and disoriented Imperial ships, Earth's fleet attacked with precision. They targeted engines, weapons, and command centers, disabling rather than destroying when possible. Michelle's fighters darted between the massive Imperial vessels, targeting any ships that still had functioning weapons. Their formation is breaking, she reported excitedly. They're retreating. Indeed, the Imperial ships that could still maneuver were turning away, accelerating to escape the solar system. Those that couldn't move were left behind, adrift and powerless. In the command center, Henry and Nicole watched as the Imperial fleet scattered. I can't believe it worked, Nicole breathed. Dr. Peterson deserves a medal, Henry replied. Her counter-technology changed everything. As Earth's forces secured their victory, capturing disabled Imperial vessels and pushing the retreating ships beyond Pluto, a sense of cautious optimism spread through the command center. Michelle guided her squadron in pursuit of the fleeing Imperial ships. They're running, she reported. The mighty Galactic Empire is running from Earth. The battle was won, But everyone knew this was just the beginning. The Empire would not take this defeat lightly. Scientist Paul Mitchell stared at his lab results in disbelief. For weeks, he had been analyzing samples from the captured Imperial ships, trying to understand why Earth had become a target. Now he had his answer. "It's not about conquest," he muttered. "It's about this." He held up a vial containing ordinary soil. To most people, it would seem unremarkable. But Paul had discovered something extraordinary about Earth's biosphere that made it uniquely valuable. "Get me General Carter," he told his assistant. Immediately. While Paul made his discovery, intelligence agent Susan Baker was on a more dangerous mission. Disguised using technology reverse-engineered from Imperial systems, she had infiltrated an Imperial vessel at the edge of the solar system. The ship was one of few still monitoring Earth after their defeat. Susan moved silently through the alien corridors, her suit adjusting its appearance to mimic Imperial technology. She reached the central data core, her target. Beginning download, she whispered into her hidden communicator. She attached a device to the ship's computer system. Earth's best hackers had designed it to break Imperial encryption. "Warning," came the response in her earpiece. "Life forms approaching your position." Susan pressed herself against a wall as two Imperial officers passed by, discussing something in their strange language. Her translator picked up fragments. Earth, resistance, and others. Others? Susan wondered. Were there other planets resisting the Empire? When the officers passed, she checked her device. The download was complete. She quickly retrieved it and began her escape back to her hidden shuttle. Back on Earth, Paul Mitchell presented his findings to General Nicole Carter and the United Council. "The Empire doesn't want Earth for standard colonization," he explained. "They want our biosphere. Earth has something extremely rare in the galaxy, a perfect balance of microorganisms that create a self-sustaining ecosystem." He showed them microscopic images. These bacteria can transform toxic environments into habitable ones. On a planet that's been strip-mined or polluted, these could restore it within years instead of centuries. "So they want to take our microbes?" Ambassador William Foster asked. "Worse," Paul replied. "They want to harvest our entire biosphere. Their process would leave Earth a barren rock." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. The mood shifted when Susan Baker arrived, still wearing her infiltration suit. She connected her stolen data device to the Council's display system. "I found something you need to see," she said. Images appeared showing dozens of planets across the galaxy. "These are worlds that have attempted to resist Imperial control." "There are so many," Nicole murmured. "And some are still fighting." Susan continued. "The Empire isn't as all-powerful as they want us to believe. They're stretched thin, trying to maintain control over too many systems." She pointed to several planets highlighted in different colors. "These worlds have active resistance movements. Some have been fighting for decades." Ambassador Foster leaned forward. "Can we contact them?" "We already have their communication frequencies," Susan confirmed. "And something else." She pulled up more data. "The Empire is concealing how successful our counterattack was. They're afraid other worlds will learn that they can be defeated." The council members exchanged glances, a new hope dawning on their faces. "Then we should make sure the galaxy knows exactly what happened here," William said. Over the next days, Earth's most powerful transmitters sent messages to the coordinates Susan had discovered. They shared their defense technologies, tactics, and most importantly, proof that the Empire could be beaten. Responses began to arrive, cautious at first, then increasingly enthusiastic. Representatives from resistance movements shared their own strategies and technologies. "This changes everything," Nicole told William as they reviewed the growing communications. "We're not alone anymore." "No," William agreed. "We're becoming something the Empire truly fears, the center of a galactic rebellion." In his laboratory, Paul continued studying Earth's unique biology, developing ways to protect it. And Susan Baker prepared for another mission, this time to personally visit their new allies. The Empire had united around conquest. Now Earth would unite the galaxy around freedom. Representatives from 12 oppressed star systems arrived on Earth under cover of stealth technology. Their ships landed in a remote desert facility, specially built for this historic summit. Each alien delegation marveled at Earth's blue skies and abundant natural life, things many of their worlds had lost to Imperial exploitation. Ambassador William Foster greeted them in a circular chamber designed to accommodate various physiologies. Some delegates stood on multiple legs, others floated in special containment fields, but all shared a common purpose. "Welcome to Earth," William announced. "Together, we will change the course of galactic history." The Varian delegate, a crystalline being named Shorith, spoke first. "For 3 centuries, we have fought the Empire alone, believing we were the only ones with the courage to resist." "As did we," replied Kents of the Maraxian Confederacy, his green skin pulsing with emotion. "The Empire kept us isolated, unaware of other resistance movements." General Nicole Carter presented Earth's defense strategy. Using holographic displays, she showed how their forces had repelled the Imperial fleet. "Dr. Peterson's counter-technology can be adapted to work with all your various systems," she explained. "And we can share the biological compounds Dr. Mitchell discovered that neutralize Imperial energy weapons." The delegates shared their own technologies and strategies. The Varian offered crystal-based communication systems that couldn't be intercepted. The Maraxians provided advanced propulsion technology. Each civilization contributed unique solutions born from decades of resistance. As the summit continued, Earth's long-range sensors detected alarming movement. The Empire had gathered its forces from across 3 sectors, the largest fleet ever assembled. "They're coming," Nicole informed the delegates. "They must have learned about our alliance." "Then the time for planning is over," Williams said grimly. "Now we fight together or fall together." The Allied forces deployed throughout the solar system. Earth's vessels joined with ships from a dozen worlds, forming a defensive line extending from Venus to Mars. General Carter coordinated the combined fleet from the Lunar Command Center. "All systems linked and operational," reported Officer Ryan Phillips. Allied vessels report ready status. The Imperial Armada emerged from hyperspace, thousands of warships stretching across space like a metal storm cloud. At their center, a vessel larger than all others, the Imperial Sovereign, flagship of the Emperor himself. "So they sent their ruler to witness our destruction," Nicole observed. "How unfortunate for him." The Emperor's voice boomed across all communication channels. "Rebellious worlds, your defiance ends today. Submit or be annihilated." William transmitted the Allied response. "We reject your empire and all it represents. Today marks the beginning of freedom for all worlds." The Imperial fleet opened fire, a wall of energy weapons surging toward the Allied line. But when the barrage reached the defense perimeter, the combined shield technology developed by Earth and the Varian dispersed the attack harmlessly. "All ships, execute counterattack," Nicole ordered. The Allied fleet moved forward in perfect coordination. Their weapons, each enhanced with technology shared between civilizations, struck with unprecedented effectiveness. Imperial vessels began to falter as their systems failed under the combined assault. The Emperor, witnessing the unexpected resistance, ordered an all-out attack. The Imperial Sovereign itself moved forward, firing weapons that could shatter moons. Michelle Johnson led a special squadron directly toward the flagship. "Remember the plan," she told her pilots, "a mix of humans and aliens from 3 different worlds. Get us close enough to deploy the package." Her fighters dodged through the chaos of battle, taking heavy fire but pressing forward. When they reached the Imperial Sovereign, they released their payload, hundreds of Dr. Mitchell's specially designed disruptors. The effect was immediate. The massive flagship's lights flickered and died. Its weapons fell silent. Throughout the battlefield, Imperial ships retreated or surrendered as news spread that the Emperor's vessel had fallen. Hours later, in Earth's council chamber, the Emperor himself stood before the Allied representatives. Without his technology and weapons, he seemed smaller, less imposing. "The Galactic Council recognizes Earth's sovereignty," he stated formally, "and the independence of all Allied worlds." William nodded. "This is just the beginning. A new galactic order based on cooperation rather than conquest." As the delegates celebrated, Nicole looked out at the night sky. Stars that once represented distant threats now held the promise of new friendships and alliances.